Hey folks, back to make another video for you. And I wanted to, first of all, thank any new subscribers to my channel. So thanks for joining me here. I do appreciate that. And hopefully we can continue to grow and have more people come on to see what's happening. I wanted to give some thoughts about improvisation. And this is kind of touching the third rail of jazz or jazz ideas, but I thought I would give some thoughts. These are just some ideas that have occurred to me in 35, 36 years of playing the guitar, and then seeing some videos on YouTube recently, people talking about improvisation. So I thought I might kind of throw my 2 cents in here as far as the subject is concerned. And I'm certainly no expert on improvisation, but I love to improvise. I love to play things very spontaneously, very in the moment, and to play off the top of my head, at least to the best of my ability anyway. It's self-expression and it's creativity, and it's just fantastic. It's nothing quite like playing music together with other people and listening and just kind of like picking up on whatever vibe may be present, and playing with different musicians. And just had an opportunity recently to kind of just improvise freely in front of a group of people, which was the first time I played in front of people in a long time. So that was fun. So as far as improvisation is concerned, there's elements of it that it's a very, very wide topic. There's a lot to think about, a lot to cover. You have harmonic consideration, melodic consideration, rhythmic consideration, and so all of these are parts of just creating music spontaneously in the moment. As far as being able to do that, whether you be first starting out or whether you are a little further along on your journey like myself, I think one of the biggest things that is going to be of value is listening to other musicians that you have an appreciation for. And there's so many great musicians in all genres of music. I've been consumed with listening to jazz for the last 20 plus years, just like consistently listening. I think that's really the only way to try to play any decent jazz, is to just be listening to jazz all the time. So that's a huge concern of mine. Some great improvisers that really appeal to me are, of course, John Coltrane. I mean, just, mind-blowing musician, mind-blowing person in general. I really like Dexter Gordon, and I've spent a lot of time listening to the Ballads album. If you look up Dexter Gordon Ballads, that's an outstanding jazz record. It's an amalgamation of a lot of his ballads from the Blue Note catalog, and then especially there's a live version of Body and Soul on there that I'd have to say, I mean, that may be one of the best jazz solos I've ever heard in my life, is that live version of Body and Soul on the Dexter Gordon Ballads album. If you haven't heard that, you should definitely dig that up. That's well worth a listen, because he's just like firing on all cylinders in that instance. Some more of the modern names that are out there right now. I love David Binney, who's an alto saxophone player. And if you look up a song called Bastion of Sanity, that's an amazing tune. There's a especially great live version of that. I think he's live at the 55 bar. Man, he just playing some amazing stuff. I love Chris Potter, tenor saxophone player. There was an album put out by the Jonathan Blake Trio. That was just that was a couple years ago now, probably. But Chris Potter just with saxophone, bass, and drums, just blazing, like unbelievable melodic and harmonic and rhythmic variation there. Just absolutely unbelievable. And then another great player is a guy named Myron Walden, who really, really just is, I don't know, every time I listen to him, it's just like almost it's like a spiritual experience. He's got an amazing album that he did with another amazing tenor saxophone player named Marcus Strickland. And it's an album they did called Higher Ground. So that's Marcus Strickland on tenor, Myron Walden on alto, and bass and drums on that album. That's, it's totally, totally amazing improvising all over that album. I mean, just listening to stuff like this, the horn players, that's what I'm after, is that kind of real complexity of approach to harmonic and melodic and rhythmic improvisation. And so whatever you're listening to, I think that's just important, that it's a consistent thing, listening, so that you have an idea of what it is that you want to sound like. I mean, I know I want to sound more like a horn player. It's just a very, very difficult thing to play on the guitar. Just never get close to the sound that I have in my head. I play some things, but I'm never happy with them. There's been some instances, of course, in 35 years I could look back and say, like, yeah, I'm happy with that. But most of the time I am never happy with what I play. And then there's a matter of objectivity, too. After improvising or putting down solos or something like that, I don't have any objectivity as to whether it's any good or not. Especially playing with my own personal band, Magic Bullets. I'd be really thrilled if anybody watched this video and then went to go check out the Magic Bullets. That's MAJIC, Magic with a J. And if you look up Magic Bullets, there's going to be several albums that are on YouTube. But try to find the most recent stuff that we've done on an album that was called Blood Moon. And I think it comes in, there's like, if you put in Magic Bullets and then you see the result is Magic Bullets Topic on YouTube, then you can get some of those tunes that are on the Blood Moon album. That's the most recent music that we've recorded. So yeah, to sum up the idea of, like, you're going to improvise, like, if you have anything in mind, whether it's going to be blues or jazz or rock or anything. I mean, the question is what to play, and of course I'm not going to tell you what to play. You play whatever you like. I got all I can do to play what I like. But as far as what to play or like how to come up with things to play, to improvise, I mean, well, you could, of course, play nothing, okay, and then we don't have any problem with that, but that doesn't really get you any closer to self-expression. You could play nothing, but that has its place too. But I think the idea is, upon listening and listening and listening, then you get a sense of what you want to sound like. And then you also are going to need to learn some idiomatic language, so if that's blues or it's jazz, there's going to be certain kind of idiomatic phrases that are associated with that style of music, be it blues, be it jazz, be it rock, be it whatever you want to play. And you have to learn some of that idiomatic language. And if you pick that up in books, or if you pick it up on the internet, or you pick it up, through videos or whatever it is, there's some certain phrases that are very common, and once you have a little bit of a familiarity with the idiomatic language, then it's a matter of getting in there and manipulating it to kind of suit you and change things, or do something to mutate it into your own version of those things. So it's and you can play anything you like. I mean, as far as jazz is concerned, I mean, you can play free. That's something that I have been interested in the last couple of years, is trying to be a little more free and play like just more chromatically. And you could play just a bunch of chromatic gobbledygook, but that's is a limited application and a limited appeal. So playing free, or playing very freely, or playing well free, that's something altogether different. But most oftentimes, like, the idea is to play what you hear, or at least what you think you hear. You're playing, and most of the time that's going to mean that I'm playing what I know or what I like. And it's going to mean that in a lot of cases I'm going to play what I know, what works, But that can lead to playing what you hear. There's a great book, I think it's by a guy named Paul Berliner. It's called Thinking in Improvisation. It's a very big book. It's a beast of a book. It's it's a very, very thick book, but that's a good book to go dig up and read, because it has all kinds of anecdotes and thoughts on improvisation from various jazz musicians, and examining the idea of improvising. But we're talking about a connection between your ear and your brain and your hands, and there's going to be some kinesthetic stuff that just comes up because it just falls under the fingers, so whatever is there may end up happening because that's just what happens to be right there. So something is right next door to where you are, and you just, you know what you want to play, and you play something that works. So there's a certain amount of like just, facility that comes from playing the instrument. But another thing that is important, I think, is if you talk about the ear and the brain and the hands and the connection between you and the instrument, would be interval recognition and ear training. And, I learned to play, 35 years ago, took some lessons and got really into the blues and rock, and would sit down with, the radio at the time, it's still pretty much the same. Like, classic rock radio is going to be playing the same 50 songs over and over again from day to day. And I'd just sit down and I'd try to figure out these tunes. And, you figure out a couple chords in this tune, and, the next tune would come on, you figure out a couple chords or a riff or a line from this tune, and the next tune, and the next tune. And then tomorrow that tune's going to be on again, or 2 days later you're going to hear that tune again and figure out a little more. And then you get into a point where you can play, I was playing along with everything that was on the radio. But I want to get in something here real quick, because I'm looking at my time that I've got left on the video. There's not a whole lot of time left, but I want to talk about something called interval recognition, ear training, and an exercise that I saw in a Guitar Player magazine many years ago. It's called the chromatic mirror, and it was by a guy named Kevin Lutke. And basically what this was is like, he showed that you go from like one fixed note, and then it's a half step below and a half step above, and then a whole step below, a whole step above, a minor third below, a minor third above, and it's all the intervals. So you hear this from a one note to the next. So that's every interval away from C. Half step below, half step above, whole step down, whole step above, minor third down, minor third from above, major third down, major third from above, fourth down, fourth from above, fifth down, fifth from above, sixth down, sixth from above, then that's going to be minor sixth down, minor sixth above, that might have been wrong, and then whole step down, a major seventh, then flat nine down, and then flat nine from above, and then the octave. That might have been wrong, but it gets you every interval. Yeah, I'm doing weird things. And when you think about moving from one note to the next, you want to play what you hear. So are you hearing a half step from the note you're playing? Are you hearing a whole step above the note you're playing? Are you hearing a minor third jump to the next note? I think I might have to make a part 2. I may have to edit this video.